Good evening and welcome to another video. Yes, I try to film most of my videos outside. I live in the country, hence the name country in my title. But today it is pouring down rain. So rather than do it outside, I'm trying to do it in a warm place. So I'm doing it inside of a vehicle. And so I still hope you listen and hope you get something out of it. We hope to make your day a whole lot brighter. What I wanted to talk to you just for a few moments today about, and maybe this might be just a few minutes longer, but as we enter into 2020, and I realize probably by the time you're watching this, we'll be toward the end of January, but is goals, resolutions, things like that we set out to do in this new year. We've all done it. We all do it. And chances are, if it's toward the end of January, chances are probably many of you have broke them. A resolution or a goal that you might have had as you entered into this new year. And I just wanted to give a few tips on some things that would help maybe you personally or religiously, or to accomplish the goals that you would like to do in 2020, because I believe you can reach those goals. I believe you can reach the things that you set for yourself if you go about it in the right way. And I remember reading a quote from a famous baseball manager from years ago, and I wanted to share that quote with you. It says this: it says, "A disciplined person with a little talent will reach more goals than a sloppy person with a lot more talent." And that makes a whole lot of sense, because basically it's saying whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. You know, a sloppy person that has a lot of talent, if they don't put something to use, if they don't really work at, what they're trying to do, then, they're not going to get nothing out of it. So what we want to try to do is encourage you, hey, make 2020 your year. Make this your year, even if you have faltered. And that is one reason why I wanted to make this video, was because I think that's one of the keys. And I know I've suffered this myself, where we mess up sometimes. We set too high expectations. You set too high of a goal. Now I'm going to use something here that I know I use a lot, or I do a lot, and probably it's the universal resolution that everybody makes every year: losing weight. Okay, you know what a lot of people do is, a lot of people will say, I'm going to lose X amount of weight by a certain amount of time, 2 months, 3 months, maybe for the whole year. But they'll say, or maybe by the end of January, for example, and they'll say, I'm going to lose X amount of weight. Well, you really start out strong. You start out, like gangbusters, and you really, however you go to do it. And a lot of times fad diets aren't good for you. If you lose it real fast, that's not good for you anyway. So you need to try to work on, doing it slowly and slower. And I've got my Fitbit on today, and I've been trying to wear it and try to get my more steps in. So I'm thinking, maybe that will help me get, a little bit more exercise into my day, hopefully. But a lot of people will say, okay, I'm going to lose X amount of weight, or maybe they're on a fad diet. And then, you might look at and a lot of times they'll weigh too often. You might weigh every day, and then you get up one day and you've gained 2 pounds and you thought you'd lost 3. You know what you do? A lot of times people will get disgusted. They'll say, what's the use? What's the use? And then they're done. Or they'll say, well, I'm just going to pig out because, this isn't working. Well, not only have, you lost your resolution, but also now you're, you're going the totally opposite way. And so, what I think would be a good way to do, if you want, and this is, I've seen people before talk about soft drinks too. For example, they're going to cut out soft drinks. Well, I don't know about you, but a lot of times if I cut out certain things in my diet, or my food, I'm not going to call it diet, but my daily eating, I start getting a headache. So a lot of times I'll try to drink a little bit more, but sometimes if I say, well, I'm going to drink more water, well, I think this I'm going to use these as an illustration, and I think you'll see what I'm talking about. Set goals that are attainable. Set goals that you can do, okay? And don't put limits on them, or don't put specific things on them. For example, when we was talking about a diet, don't go in there and say, I'm going to lose X amount of pounds. Well, then you get disgusted and you give up. Why don't you just say, I'm going to try to eat healthier? I'm going to try to eat healthy, and maybe allow myself one time on the weekend to eat, sweets, or eat something, sort of a little bit out of the ordinary that you don't have been putting off during the week. If you're going to, use, and I'm just using these as an example, do it at a easier pace. Don't put limitations on you where you actually set yourself up to fail. If you want to cut out soft drinks, for example, maybe just cut back for a little bit. Cut back maybe to one a day. And that way, that'll give you something to work into it slowly. So a lot of it is how we go about it. A lot of the goals and things that we put on ourselves, we break because, we give up too easy because we've made it too hard on ourselves. So, and so a lot of these things that you're going to do in daily life, just try to set goals that you can attain. As I said, if you're using the weight as an example, don't set a certain amount of pounds. Just think, I'm going to try to cut this out of my what I'm eating, or I'm going to try to cut back on this, or use things like that. Okay. And I want to talk for a moment, of course, as we said, the title of this channel is God, Country, and You. And, I am a Christian, and I want to talk to you for a moment about the Christian, aspect of it. A lot of people set goals as far as Christians. And how about this? Why don't you, instead of putting a goal specifically on something, whether it be prayer, fasting, something like that, don't put time periods on it. Don't put time limits on it. Just think, why don't you use your goal as just getting closer to God throughout the year? Okay, let me give you an example. Some people will say, okay, well, I'm going to fast more, and I'm going to fast at this time, or I'm going to fast at that time. I'm going to fast for X amount of time. I'm going to fast 3 meals. I'm going to fast 2 meals, whatever they want to do. If it's a person's own personal thing, then that's fine. You can do it. But my advice is this, whatever you do, just do what you feel, and do it between you and God. Okay? Don't do it to where, the scripture talks about in the book of Matthew, and I normally don't read the scriptures, I just put them in the description box, so you can look at the ones I'm going to refer to. But the scripture talks about people that would fast, and then basically just go out and let people see their faces, that their faces were drawn where they hadn't eat. And just to say, basically, I'm fasting. I've fasted for God. But you know what the Bible said? The Bible said they have their reward. So you don't need to do that like that, And what you need to do is just have your own personal relationship with God. And Bible reading, that's another one. A lot of people, and I've heard, as far as growing up, I've seen a lot of people say it myself, but they'll talk about, they want to, read the Bible through, for example. I've seen preachers before that would get up and say, I read the Bible through 3 times this year. Well, that's wonderful, if that's what they feel to do. But my advice would be that to myself as well, read what you feel to read from God. Read what will benefit you. Do what benefits you in your walk with God. For example, when you look at, there's certain books in the Bible, you look at Numbers and Leviticus and, the Chronicles, and there's a lot of books in the Bible that a lot of people can't really understand, or not understand, but a lot of people really just don't comprehend it, and they don't, they say, well, that's, a lot of it's genealogy and numerology and those type of things. So, what I'm saying is, if you feel more comfortable, if you feel like you can read the 4 Gospels, for example, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and you can read them 4 times in a row throughout the year, and God will show you something every time you do that, keep doing that. Keep reading what God is talking to you through, okay? Because here's the thing. I've done it before myself, and you've done it when you had to read, if when I was at one point where, they would say, well, you need to read the Bible through. Well, you can you can skim through anything and say, I read it. But if it's not profiting you nothing, then basically you've just wasted that time. So if you can't read Numbers, for example, and get anything out of it, and you want to read Romans, then read Romans. And God will work that through you. So the Bible said, that, and here, and you don't have to tell people. You don't have to tell people you've been fasting. You don't have to tell people you've read the Bible through. You don't have to tell people all these things. Because you know why? The Bible said God sees. When you go into your closet, it says take a spiritual closet. Go in there and pray. Seek God, whatever you want, talk to God. And it said the Father that sees you in secret will reward you openly. And there's one scripture where it says that they took counsel with him because they knew that they had been with Jesus. That was because of the way that they was behaving. What he's saying was they didn't get up and beat their chest and say, look at me, I did this, or look at me, I did that. I prayed an hour, and that's another thing sometimes people will do, is they'll say, well, you're going to set a resolution like you're going to pray an hour every day at a certain time period. You're going to pray 3 to 4 o'clock. Okay, well, you know what happens? And a lot of times, and like I said, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But if you have trouble keeping these resolutions, this is what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to help you. If somebody says, well, pray 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, we're setting that resolution you're going to do. Then you get down on your knees and you start praying. You know what happens? You start looking at your watch. Because how else are you going to know when it's 4 o'clock? Of course, then you might have prayed hard for 15 minutes and then boom, it's like, oh, Lord, let me see. Is it 45 minutes yet? No, it's only 15 minutes, So don't set time limits. My resolution, or I think a good resolution would be, you're going to pray more. But remember, here's the key. Quality over quantity. You could pray more maybe in 15 minutes and have a better feel of God and a relationship with God in those 15 minutes than an hour if you pray an hour and you're asleep for 45 of the minutes. You see what I'm saying? The important thing is set goals you can attain to, that you can gain, you can get. And that's what that manager said. He said you can have less talent, but if you put more dedication into it, you can accomplish more than somebody that's got more talent, but they don't put the effort in. So my advice and my hope that I'm helping you with today is in life. I hope you're a Christian, but if you're not, I still hope you listen to these words as far as, in life, you becoming a better person. Set goals you can obtain, set goals that you can do. And as far as Christian, with your relationship with God, I hope these helps you. Because I want us to just be able to help each other. And I want us to try to help each other. And here's my thing. Please like and subscribe to this channel. I hope to improve it over time, and I hope I improve with you over time. And I want to say one thing quickly. Liking a channel. I see a lot of people that have these videos. They've got like 3,000 views and maybe 100 likes, and they're really good videos. Maybe 100 likes and no dislikes. But the thing is a lot of people that's doing these channels, you don't have your own channel. And if you don't have your own channels, you can't like it. So you're just viewing it. You can't like it or you can't comment, those that have comments available. But remember, it does not take anything to... you don't have to post anything if you have a channel. So don't think, well, I'm not going to start a channel because I don't want to post a video. You don't have to post. I've just recently started this, and I've had a channel for quite a while because I wanted to be able to post comments on those that allowed comments. I wanted to be able to like videos. So I see now where a lot of them videos I watched I never liked, or I liked, but I didn't officially like them. Well, now I try to like them because it helps out the individual. So like and subscribe, share it, and hopefully, things will just get better for you, and 2020 can be a wonderful, wonderful year for you, and hopefully me as well. So we'll catch you on the next video. Thank you for watching. You have a great day, and catch you on the next one.